mention, I mean, here's the best we can determine what happened. In 2005, the Defense Authorization Bill was under consideration by the United States Congress. It passed the House of Representatives. It contained language that was very carefully crafted to basically prevent Eads Airbus from getting this contract on the tanker. Okay, and it was included in the House passed bill. And had that language been included in the final bill, Eads would not be able to compete on this deal. And the reason is because they're being subsidized, and historically they have been subsidized, and in addition to that, they were in a dispute with the United States at the World Trade Organization over these subsidies. And the theory was, why are we going to permit somebody that is in conflict with our government because of subsidies from their government to compete against Boeing? Okay, so that language was included in the House bill. Goes to the Senate. Senator Roberts is a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee that had jurisdiction. He was also a member of the Senate Conference Committee that ultimately worked out the differences between the Senate bill and the House bill. Senator Roberts had a chance in that conference committee to say that language is going to stay in the bill. Had that language stayed in the bill, we wouldn't have any of these problems here in Wichita. And unfortunately, the president said, I don't want that language. McCain said, I don't want that language. And Roberts backed off.
Be clear, they did not want a Buy America language.
Yeah.
They insisted and demanded it had to come out or they would not approve that bill.
Yeah.
Bush said, I'll
He
veto
threatened to
it.
veto the bill, and Roberts then backed off and said, well, we're going to drop the language then that you object to it. I mean, that is a pattern with Senator Roberts since 2001. I mean, a pattern with him on the war, where he went along with Bush on all this war policy, a pattern with him on fiscal policy, where he voted for all these huge deficits, and a pattern here. So it's an ongoing pattern of doing what the president wanted him to do. He calls himself an old Marine. And you know something, that gives me an important insight, because Marines are taught to salute the Commander-in-Chief. And that's wonderful during a time of war. I was in the Army. I was taught to salute the Commander-in-Chief too, and that's great. But when you're in the United States Senate, your job is not to salute the Commander-in-Chief. Your job is to be a separate but equal participant in the decision-making process, and to challenge the Commander-in-Chief when the Commander-in-Chief is misleading the country, or where you disagree with the Commander-in-Chief. That is your job. And so, as far as I'm concerned, Roberts now is trying to make himself look like a hero to clean up a mistake that he made several years ago. And I mean, I just think it's important for the people of Wichita to have all the facts. Another part of this that's very important, I think, to know is that his son, David Roberts, was lobbying for Eads Airbus on this bill, okay? Yep. On this bill.
Yep.
Now, he may not have been lobbying against Boeing on this bill, but he was lobbying on this bill for Eads Airbus.
And chickens may not lay eggs either, but
But
most of them do.
So those are the facts, and I think the people down here ought to know those.